friends, welcome back to my channel. So we're here today to launch the Runwright Reads Fall Reading Challenge. And I know we finished the Runwright Reads Summer Reading Challenge just a few days ago, but we're in a new season. So I think it is appropriate to start thinking about different books. So last week, I made a video where I talked about the books that I had read for the Runwright Reads Summer Reading Challenge. And at that point, there were still a few days left in the challenge, and I mentioned that I was still working on a category, was still working on finding a book to meet the prompt of read a book that had ice cream on the cover or mention ice cream. And so I did not actually find and read a book that had ice cream on the cover or mentioned. There was a book that I had read during the challenge that mentioned ice cream, and I could have used it maybe for this challenge, but it would have required me switching up a few other categories, and so I decided to just leave my challenge the way it was. So I read 13 of the 14 prompts. I don't know if that's good or bad that the creator of the challenge didn't meet the challenge, but I read 13 of the 14 books, and so for me that's a win. I think anywhere you go, 13 out of 14 is a passing grade. So I'm gonna say I met the challenge even though I didn't read for all the prompts. So I would love to know from you in the comments down below. Let me know if you read books for the Runwright Reads Summer Reading Challenge, how you did. Would love to hear from you in the comments down below. And so I won't go over all the books that I read because I did that in the previous video. But we're now moving on to another challenge. So here are some prompts for the Runwright Reads Fall Reading Challenge, because fall is upon us, autumn is upon us. And let's just take a moment and pause to appreciate the beauty that is my orange blazer, the seasonally appropriate but also reading challenge appropriate fall blazer, which is kind of coincidental. I wasn't sure when I put this on that I was going to film this video today, but look at me. Launching a fall reading challenge and wearing a fall blazer. I'm just so proud of myself. Considering I don't put on a blazer most days. Most days I get up and put on a t-shirt and jeans and drop my daughter off to school. This is a win. This is a win for me, so let's just celebrate. So in the comments down below, would love to hear from you about your Runwright Reads Summer Reading Challenge. If you participated, what books you read, how it went. If there were books that you chose and read and loved, books that you read specifically for meeting the challenge, would love to know about that. So for the fall reading challenge, here are the prompts. Again, this is the Runwright Reads Fall Reading Challenge, so shameless self-promotion here. Each one of the prompts begins a letter for Runwright Reads, so there are 14 letters, 14 prompts, and the first one is the R prompt, R for rainy. So a book that features rain in some way. You know how sometimes the weather can be like a character in a book that features rain, or maybe a book that has a rainy scene on the cover, or a book that may be a book that you think about reading when it's raining, or a book that, a nonfiction book about the history of rain. I don't know. There's also a novel called The History of Rain, which I've already read, so I can't read it for this challenge, but maybe you can. So R for rainy, a book that features rain in some way. U is for unusual, so a genre that you don't usually read would meet this prompt. It could be anything. It could be anything. If you read mostly nonfiction and you choose to pick up a novel for this category, if you don't usually read manga and you read a manga. So for unusual, we're going to say any page count. So generally for the reading challenge, we try to read books that are 150 pages or more, but for the unusual book, I'm going to say less than or equal or greater than any page count. And for nonfiction, so November is usually celebrated around these parts as Nonfiction November, and I love participating in that challenge, which is hosted by Olive over at a Book Olive. And so I'm going to just make a gentle nod in Olive's direction and say one of the challenges here would be to read a nonfiction book, any nonfiction book. It could be a memoir, it could be history, it could be self-help, it could be a cookbook, it could be anything. Nonfiction would meet that category. W, for the W, we'll say a book that features one of the 5 W's in the title, maybe. So who, what, where, when, why. Any of those W words in the title would meet that prompt. R, the second R, would be for roaring. So nothing says autumn for me than a fire, like a roaring fire. But roaring fire may not be a pleasant thing. Like, it's one thing to sit by a campfire and enjoy the fire and what it provides, or to sit in a nice lodge or in a home with a fireplace and sit by that roaring fire. But a roaring fire could also be a blaze that takes out, I don't know, a home, a town, like what happened in Hawaii a few weeks ago, or a wildfire, maybe a nonfiction book about the wildfires. I don't know. So R is for roaring. Any book that says roaring fire to you would be appropriate for this challenge. The I prompt is me, I. So first person narrative, whether it is a novel that is written in first person or a memoir, yeah, autobiography, any book that says I. G would be for goal, a book that helps you meet a goal. So I have lots of books on my TBR for this year, but I also set these little goals for myself. There's a list of books that I should be reading from my shelf before the end of the year, or I need to maybe unhaul them. There are also books that I have on a list of books that I want to read this year, my 2023 and beyond TBR. So any book that helps me meet a goal would be appropriate for this challenge, and so for you as well, however you set your reading goals. But I mean, I know we also have number goals, so any book that you read would help you to meet your number goal. So really, the G book, the goal book, could be any book. You'll figure that out. H for health, a book about health, a book about physical health or mental health. This could be nonfiction, it could be a novel that features someone dealing with a health crisis and how they overcome it, that kind of thing. Any book that says health would be appropriate for this challenge. T is for treat. I love a good treat. So any book that is a treat for you would be appropriate for this prompt. And you could interpret that any way you like. R is for recommendation. So any book that has been recommended by someone. I go to the library a lot. I have conversations with the librarians. I get recommendations from all of you on BookTube, creators as well as commenters. I get recommendations from magazines. Recommendation. Maybe a personal recommendation, maybe not, maybe a recommendation from something that you watch, a podcast. R is for recommendation. Interpret that as you like. E for easy. Any book that you consider to be easy. Any page count, any topic, any format. E for easy. Any easy book. A for autumn, because it is the autumn season. So any book that says autumn to you, whether it has autumn colors, it has autumn leaves, it is about the season of autumn, it is set during the autumn season. Any book that says autumn would be appropriate for this prompt. D for December. So as you know, the fall season goes on till December 22nd. So since we'll be reading in December, any book that is a December read for you. So book may be a holiday theme book that says Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa. A book that has winter scene on the front or is set during those months. Any book that says December to you would be appropriate for the December prompt. And S is for shoulda. Shoulda or should've. Any book that you probably refer to and say, I should have read that book by now. I mean, I have a long list of books that are shoulda books for me. So a shoulda book would meet this prompt. Any book that you say, man, I should have read this book already. If you read it now, then number one, you would have met prompt on the Runwright Reads Fall Reading Challenge. But it will also mean that next time someone mentions that book, you won't say, man, I should have read that book already. You could say, I've read it. So the goal of the Fall Reading Challenge is to help you advance your reading goals. Find books that you love, books that you wanted to read, and help you be motivated to read them. So would love to hear from you if you're participating in the Fall Reading Challenge with me. What books you're going to be reading for any of these prompts, would love to hear that as well. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you for playing along. Thank you for being here to share this reading journey with me. Would love to chat with you in the comments down below. So let's talk down there. And until we come back for another video, happy reading, happy fall. Bye.